Okay. We are still here, still live, broadcasting on the bands there at 100.5 FM. We used to be 100.7 FM. I don't know if folks remember that. Well, maybe 10 years or less. But now we're not at 107. We're at 100.5 FM and www.koopradio.org. We're continuing on with the program. We're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about people that offer some services. And the first person we're connecting with is Ryan Booth, who is somebody local and is joining us on the line. Let me tell you a little bit about them. They are a personal trainer and post-injury rehabilitation specialist. Wow. They offer mobile training fitness. That's what I was saying the wow about. That's really great. They offer mobile personal training fitness in Vancouver. They can assess your goals and concisely program your needs through non-invasive testing of musculoskeletal and skeletal cardiovascular systems. And they've been doing this for over 3 decades. They are certified, and they've joined us previously on our program, and they're here again today to talk to us a little bit about themselves and the service that they provide. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, no worries. Thank you for having me. What a fabulous introduction.
Well, I ripped it off your website, which is, let folks know, which is really easy. It's RyanBooth.ca, Ryan Booth. But Ryan, can we start a little bit about your background? Because I didn't believe that you had some Middle Eastern connection when I first met you. And then you told me that you also do like acting and theater and you're into personal fitness and all of this kind of stuff, post-injury rehabilitation. Can you just let listeners give us a sense of like where you're coming from, like who you are, how you got into this industry? I know there's two, but today we're focusing on the personal training.
Okay, perfect. So I'm a first-generation Canadian. My mother was born a refugee in Beirut in 1948. She's Palestinian. Her parents from Haifa and Safed in Palestine. We are Christian Palestinians, and I was raised as a white middle-class Canadian person.
Do people call you Ginger? Everybody calls you Ginger?
Yeah, and I received many a boot on Kick a Ginger Day, which seemed to be many days of the year.
What do you get when you tell them that you're Palestinian? I mean, when you're comfortable and safe and you tell them you're Palestinian, what do you get?
Well, I'm usually met with a blinking action as their brains short circuit because they don't understand that, yes, you could be Arab and white at the same time. Mm. That tends to be the biggest shocker. And also, I look like this and I sound like this. I don't speak Arabic. And so, I mean, like, it's completely understandable. And also, I just kind of have to mention that, like, there has been, like, a disinformation campaign against Arabs in Canada for, like, since well before I was born. So, while when people look at you, they see, like, a person and they empathize with you and so on and so forth. When you say that you're Palestinian, you're opening the doors to a whole new set of prejudices that are just sort of ingrained. And that people don't really understand how to negotiate that with somebody who's a personal trainer. I'm 6'3", I'm 300 pounds. I'm fairly well presented as both an actor and a personal trainer in Canada. I've had a lot of success in both industries. You know what I mean? So people, they don't look at me as an ethnicity. They look at me for my expertise. And if they want to get into, the history of Palestine and so on, I'm more than game to do so. However, for the most part, it ends the conversation.
So in terms of your personal training stuff, the easiest way for folks to get information would be to go to your website, yeah? And then,
Absolutely.
which is ryanbooth.ca. And then give us a sense of what kinds of people you work with or what kinds of folks are coming to your services.
So I grew into the industry of personal training in the 1990s. And at the time, there was a lot of push towards manual therapies and that sort of thing. At the time, you didn't really need a degree to learn these modalities. And so I just spent time going to seminars and educational workshops where I was actually given like a university level of information as somebody who never really passed grade 10 science. But I also realized that because I was practicing it daily, that I would learn something on the weekend, and Monday morning I would take it and be practicing it, my retention became really, really high. So what I started specializing in is post-injury rehabilitation. And because of the access that I had to the best teachers in strength and conditioning and injury rehabilitation and neuromuscular techniques, because of that access that I had, I was able to really get ahead to kind of set myself apart. It was something that I'm really, really lucky to have achieved. Because right now, if you were to try to learn a manual therapy technique like active release or any of the modalities that they teach to physiotherapists and athletic therapists and that sort of thing, I would not be granted access to that. But I was, because it was the 90s. Now, I want to make it clear that I don't perform active release technique. I don't perform modalities that are exclusively the domain of physiotherapists and chiropractors and athletic therapists. Mm-hmm. But what I do command really well is the strength and conditioning part. And that's important because the most important aspect of managing pain is education. And because I've had access to some of the greatest teachers, I understand how to communicate what is going on with your particular physiology at any given time. Not any given time necessarily, but when people come to me, they're hobbling in because their back hurts, knee hurts, or something like that, right? I can give them a frame of reference for what's going on. And then the second most important thing after education is load. And as a personal trainer, I spend an hour with you. And that's not something that physiotherapists do, generally speaking. They have multiple people that they are working with. But with me, you get the entire hour of focus. And during that time, I teach you how you are responsible for loading this injury correctly. So that's really where I get my advantage. And then the modalities that I employ are the modalities that personal trainers can employ, which is strength and conditioning, which is muscular palpation, assessment. I have wonderful muscular assessment protocols that I use, and we've been having great success for the last 20, 25 years at it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Listeners can get more information at ryanbooth.ca. Ryan, we're going to move on with the program and invite you to stick around with us. We're going to be speaking with folks that created an app called Beavermade. You know, there's all this stuff going on right now about Buy Canada. And this app is all about that. So would you like to do that and join the rest of the program? We'll also be talking with folks that created an app called Watermelon App. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll revisit what that means. And also, Boycott, which is spelled Buycott, Palestine. It's buying Palestine. And then folks from the Olive Tree. So why don't we just take a quick break and then hook up with our next guest, Ryan? Just hang on and stay on the air with us. Okay.
Absolutely.